Good afternoon. My name is Jennifer Gullett. I am the CEO and Director of Kids Kingdom Academy. And I've been asked to talk with you just a little bit, giving a little bit of information regarding the significance of equal opportunities when it comes to education for English speakers and early English learners. Okay. There are a variety of things that influence how an educator teaches and how English learners learn. And their culture is one of those influences. When it comes to cultural influences on teaching and learning, communication styles is a major influencer. Different cultures practice different communication styles, which have significant impact on a student's learning and understanding of the information that they're learning. Learning preferences is another influence on teaching and learning. Students may prefer oral storytelling. Some students may prefer to just read a book. An independent study. So it all is derived or depends on what that student's cultural norm is. Some students may be from a culture where family is very close and they get read to at night. You know, they benefit from storytelling. And other students are from cultures who are not so used to having adults read to them, and they're used to doing things on their own, and they feel more successful doing things on their own. Behavioral expectations is another influence on education. Behavioral expectations could be eye contact, questioning authority, or classroom participation. It may vary across cultures and can also be misinterpreted. In some cultures, when a student looks the adult in the eye, it's considered disrespect. However, we do know that here in the U.S., looking a person in the eyes indicates that you're paying attention. It indicates active learning. So when you come across students who may not look you in the eye or from different cultures and may not behave the way that we as educators are expecting them to behave, it's very important that we take into consideration what their cultural norm is. Family and community values is another influence on teaching and on learning. Cultural priorities for respect for elders, religious practices, and how they all indicate or they all have an impact on how a child engages in school. So as educators, in order to truly offer quality education, we have to we have to keep in mind of the influences on their education. So yes, the role of culture. The role of culture in a student's learning is very heavy, very weighty. Cultural competence is the ability of educators to understand, respect, and also to respond to diverse cultural differences. As we know, students in other cultures or students from other countries, they have many differences. They believe and they've seen different things that we have not seen or experienced here in the U.S. Their beliefs are totally different. So as educators, it is very important that we respect that. Okay? That is how do school and classroom environments influence language acquisition? Have you ever thought about that? How do we influence language acquisition? In the classroom, it is very important that we build trust with students. Okay? That we build their trust, that we earn their respect. And as we respect their culture, as we respect their beliefs, and we respect their behaviors that may be due to cultural differences, not behavioral differences, we earn that student's trust. Steps that we can take that are necessary that we take to create an inclusive environment in the classroom. It's very important that as educators an inclusive environment is created, that students do not feel isolated or students do not feel alone or less than. And we can do that by including that child's culture into the education. Okay. Just like I may have English words posted on my wall to help my English learners learn things such as tree or lamp, door. I can have those items that are in my classroom. I can have them labeled in the English language, but also in the cultural, in the language that child is from. Let's say that child is from is Hispanic, and their language is Spanish. I can have that label in their language as well. As we discuss holidays in the American holidays, it's very also important to find out what holidays are important to those students, and to learn about their cultural holidays as well, what they have celebrated, what's important to them, because they need to know and understand that they matter as well. So I encourage you as educators to stress to your students, to assure that your students feel known and feel important as well. I've been asked, how might family and community practices influence language learning? Community and family practice have a very huge impact on language learning. So that's why as educators, it is very important to include the family, to communicate with the family, to have things translated into their language so that they can understand. Some cultures may not find education as very important, and others may. So that will have a weighty influence and impact on their learning. Okay. So there's many strategies that we can take as educators to have the family involved and to assure that the family is up to par as far as what the student is learning, and to create a partnership with the family, even with the community. And those things may be by those strategies. A few of those strategies may be to ask the parents, tell me a little bit about your holidays, the holidays that you've had with your child. What holidays are important to you? Tell me a little bit about what you do during Christmas break or summer vacation. What type of things do your family enjoy doing? And expressing interest in their culture, and even asking for some input, asking, can you tell me a little bit more about things that, the good foods that you all have there. I heard that in Italy, they have amazing pasta. Can you tell us about that? Can we, and even one thing that I have noticed in a school that I have been in relationship with is that they would have cooking days. Some of their activity days would be derived of cooking a dish from a different culture. So encouraging the parents to come in and to talk about a dish or show the class how to cook a dish, things like that. So there are a variety of different ways that we can incorporate the family and the community. But all in all, I want to make sure that we all are on the same page and are on the same accord, and understanding that every child is important, every child matters, and that we have to take that extra step of inclusion, assuring that inclusion is in our classrooms and all children are included, regardless of their language or their culture.